I am so excited that you're joining us. And we had a chance to test our cross-border experiment. And the reason I know it's going to work is Matt Page was the ambassador for this program and explaining to me, you can't say that, or that's not how it translates. And he thought it was pretty good from the stuff he gave us. And he gave us for every session the changes we need to make. So you're going to give me some more. And so at some point, it'll be really, really close. There are differences. And at the same time, and let me kind of explain a little bit what I've learned about, but there's some similarities together. And we're really talking about leadership in some of the skills we have. So what I wanted to do was to ask you this question to get started. 26 versus 25, what's the significance of that, please? I need you to be really thinking. Oh, a recent event, not the stuff you've listened to the last couple of days. It has to do with snow. Okay, come on, work with me. The Winter Olympics, right? Right, okay. And by the way, as the Olympics, who won more medals? Canada, right?
Canada won more medals, but less gold.
Yeah, but I call them medals. And so if you just think about the comparison, I was trying to do the simple question of, what's the difference? If you do take the population to produce an athlete, it takes 1.4 million Canadians, it takes 13 million Americans to produce one. And so just so you can keep this in your list of stuff, you're 9 times more effective than the US in creating elite athletes, which is a pretty good factoid to have. Now, the thing but to kick everybody's butt, Norway, they have 4 million people, and so they make us all look good. So that's the first part. The other part is you do have some strange customs, and that's why I've asked the HR team to join us. These chips, why would you put those spices on a set bag of chips? I will never quite understand that, but you do. So, and there's some other things that I'm learning about your cuisine. So I have lots to learn, and we're going to learn together. But I just wanted to tell you that I'm really happy that you're all here today. Now, the key differences, and there are differences, and we'll learn them more. And why I want to start here is because every once in a while, an American in one of these cohort groups is going to say something, and you go, that's not right, you're right, but they don't know what they don't know. So what we do is you sort of say the employment relationship between the two countries is different. In the US, they use this term employment at will. That doesn't apply to your world. It's more of an implied contract relationship. Legislation in the US, we work with state, county, local layers of stuff, and it's really, really confusing. And so you generally work with the provincial government or the federal government. You're not in two lands. There's notice requirements. If you want to have somebody leave the company, there's got to be a notice requirement. In the US, it doesn't happen, or very rarely happens. And then there's this stuff about post-employment. US, it says if you leave here, you got all these things of restrictions we put in it. That doesn't happen where you are. And then we use this stuff about exempt and non-exempt, and there are a few exemptions for who gets eligible for overtime. But that's like the high-level differences. I only wanted to mention this because you know what you know, and they don't know what they don't know. That's their blind spot. So I just wanted to highlight it for you. So the common thing we have is a focus on building growth leaders. And we're trying to create a common vocabulary and approach to leadership development. There's a lot of stuff that we have that will enable us to grow. And so this program is designed to serve all of North America. And the other piece to this is it's supported by business leaders. And they've signed up for this, and they had to sit through graduation. And the accolades that they said, it was pretty good, and the feedback they got. So our leaders are signed up for this. And Curtis, if you're willing, if you can unmute, I don't know if you're muted or not, you want to say something a little bit just to give a context of how leadership fits, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, great, thank you. I'm having some Wi-Fi issues, so hopefully I don't freeze on you. But I wanted to say a huge thank you to David Lutz and his team for pulling this program together. It's absolutely awesome that we have this resource available to us. Can you hear me, Dwayne? David, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
all right, excellent.
yes, you're good.
And I just want to congratulate all of the inductees here into the program for taking the time and investing the time into your future. It's one of our core values, personal excellence, to always be striving and moving forward personally, to become better leaders, to become better people. And through that, I think you'll find greater success and greater reward in your personal life and in your professional life. So congratulations to you all for making this commitment and working towards becoming better leaders for our company.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Because if you're ready, I'm ready to get started. We'll go through the first part. And what we're trying to do today is, this is the session that I probably do more talking. So when you look at other sessions, it should be 60-40. And the great challenge we have is we have a lot of people in this, and how do you get where participants are doing that? And the way we accomplish that's in breakout rooms. The other thing Curtis helped everybody understand is the internet is unstable in some place in the world, some trunk somewhere. And so when that happens, we just move on. And if we have to do whatever happens, we'll do it, and we all just cover, because that's how we've learned to just navigate. And that's a good thing. So if you think about it, I want to get started and think about this in a couple of things. This is our investment in you, the company's investment in you, but the more important one, it's also your investment in you. And a simple way to think about this is, when was the last time you made a significant investment in you? So you got this one. And the question and my challenge to you is, will you take this as a one-time training event or a transformational moment about how you want to lead? It's a clear choice. I hope you choose the second one, but I think both are options, and both will get you some value. Now, if you think about it, I want to outline for you how the program works, because it's different than anything you've been in before.
Right.
And the other piece is, what does being ready mean? Because you're working with a group of people from all over the North America, and everybody's comes to class ready. That's different, because it's not about making me happy. I'm the facilitator. They have certain expectations that people are ready. And the interesting part is, as soon as somebody's not ready, they go, oh, somebody's going to call me out. Yeah, they probably will. And it takes a little while, because we're all polite. But then after a while, they go, are you in this or are you not in this? So just to give you some perspective. The other part is, we're going to start using Zoom. So I'm going to do a couple things around Zoom boot camp. And we're going to do it today, and then we're going to do it the next session. And after that, everything works. Now, the power of mute. When we get to the bigger sessions, everybody's probably going to be on mute, just because we love your dog, but we don't want your dog. They didn't sign up for the class. Okay. So we're probably going to be on mute. But what we do to get around that is, you have something to say. If you're on mute and you just take that space bar and hold it down, what ends up happening, it unmutes you for as long as you're talking. So if you want to just test that one, just to prove that I'm not making stuff up, you'll see that as long as you hold your mute bar down, it works. I do want you to use headphones, because it makes it a whole lot better for you, so everybody else can do it. And then, should you use your phone or not? Some people like to dial in. I recommend you not do it. But if you do use your phone, there's a really important thing. You will have an out-of-body experience if your voice and your video won't be in the same place when we do breakout rooms next time we meet. So you have to link the two together, and if you don't, you'll be unhappy. So that'll happen to somebody once, and then they'll all get it. But I just want to alert you now. And the other feature is about you can use the messaging part of Zoom. It has some really cool stuff. So that's Zoom 101 Bootcamp 1, but there's more to come to look forward to. So I want to make the case, and this first one's around leadership, about why we're doing it. And basically, we want to build the leadership capacity to grow. And if you don't grow leaders, you aren't going to grow. It's quickly going to be. So we wrote down to be very intentional about, what are we trying to measure? What are we trying to achieve? We know the results say coaches get better results. We know that we can get a faster ramp up and a shorter transition from you being an individual contributor to becoming a manager. We know it results in better engagement scores. It improves confidence, helps us manage risk, because one of the hats that we have is to manage risk, and it helps us compete for talent. People want to join organizations where there's a path for growth. And so it aligns to our values. It's the right thing to do. These are the things that we will measure as part of the program. Now, the other piece is the challenge we have. We have roughly the challenge of getting 50 to 75 leaders built. And we figure we have 5 to 10 new people we need to have every year. We as an organization have lots of pieces that are in place. They're not necessarily connected pieces. In the US, there's a Hardy program. Hardy is the trade association there. And they have a fairly good program that we could figure out how to make that available. I think most of it's transferable. You may have equivalent of that within your organization or in Canada. There's an operations managers training program for branch managers that they basically put self-paced stuff together. It's pretty good, but unless you have somebody be your tour guide, you're kind of going to finish these things and say, so what? And then there's lots of training resources we put together. The Munch Learning Network, or the one that you've recently started to roll out, it has lots of stuff. But unless you curate it or pick what things are relevant, it just seems like a lot of stuff. And we're going to get more intentional about what we show you going forward. So we have stuff right now, but we were very specific in why we wanted this to be something different. We tested it on a pilot. It has to be relevant, practical, and easy to apply. That's the terms that branch managers told us. We had this legacy thing called the Grow Model for coaching. And it's been around forever. It's the most widely used model on the planet. And we also said we wanted to do something different. Some people didn't have good educational experiences earlier in their life. They don't like it. Some people have experiences that they had crappy teachers. Some of them had great of them. Some had all kinds of experience why it didn't work. Ours was what the data shows from, and we learned that for the first thing is our folks are, for the most part, what they call practical learners. If you don't make it practical, they aren't going to do it. So we designed it around solving real life problems. And it's about time. There's never enough time. So what we wanted to do, if you're going to become coaches, you need to practice it, just like you want to be an Olympian. And so we are going to do that by applying it over 10 sessions that last 75 minutes. And we know that it works because you can do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon session. And if you still can't make it, I'll do a makeup session for you. That's a lot of flexibility to create. And you know what? I only had to do a few of the makeup sessions, but they were for real reasons. So we are one company. And the thing the survey said they liked most was to learn from their peers. We have people that have been doing this for their whole careers for 20, 30 years. And they go, I didn't know that. Oh, that's a better way. I wonder why I've done it the same way I've done it for a long time. And so you're going to learn from the cross-section of people who are experienced and some who are brand new to the role. So what we know is we started with what the research says. The key change that's happening in the last 10 to 15 years is the focus on creating a coaching culture, because the people we're leading have changed. It used to be I worked for my paycheck. Now people start talking about purpose, particularly when you get to earlier, more current generations. Used to talk about satisfaction. That's about my development. We used to talk about my boss. Now it's about my coach. The annual review is going to get replaced by an ongoing conversation. And my job, people talk about their life and the integration of all those things. And the single most important thing to scale our growth is first-line managers and creating that coaching culture. So that's what we're trying to achieve. And we're being really simple. You wear 3 hats. Sometimes you're the manager, and we're really comfortable with that one. That's running all the stuff of running the branch, running the business, managing risk, and all the traditional focus. We all know how to do that. The second hat is the one about being the leader. You are the face to the company, to the people you lead. And it's about, do you know what the vision and strategy is for the company? And can you position it for your team? And if you don't know it, how are you going to find out? And if they don't tell you, what are you going to do about it? Because you still need to have these fundamental things to run a really good organization. Again, you're the face of the team of your business. The new one is around the approach you can tell people. We're used to telling and yelling, gets replaced by asking questions, providing constructive feedback, and helping people reach their goals. Because we know when people discover the answer for themselves, they're likely to do it. It makes your work less. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. So I told you it's 10 weeks. And the 10 weeks, this is session 1, so you're 1/10 done. And this is the schedule. It will come to you in a calendar invite. And it really does work. Now, the things I need to tell you about it is, this is the class. That's a lot of people. That's 30 people. I know I can do 30 people. I am 100% short of the only thing that could possibly melt us is if there's a global disruption in internet service. That's it. I can't solve that one. I'm pretty good with a phone. I can send, I don't know, signals into the air. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But we can make this work. And so you can see it goes across all the businesses, which is great. You can see where they're coming from. And they have so many different life experiences. I had the best time going to Oklahoma, this one little branch in Oklahoma. And when you go into the town, you go into the store that's there, and they actually sell live chicks and turkeys. You can get them there. I've never been in a place. I'm in Chicago. I've never got to see that. And you walk in, you realize their culture, and you go, I'll be darned. And you also find some of the differences. In the US, we have places where you couldn't find a mask as far as you looked for the whole COVID period. And then you got places where, so the differences of experience is so awesome to draw from. It makes you a better leader. It makes you think, oh, there's more than one right answer. And that's the biggest thing you learn from all of this. So let me conclude by explaining what's next. So session 2 is going to be on the 17th. And basically, here's what's going to happen. There is an absolutely awesome survey that you're going to be asked to complete. It's going to come to a link to you on Friday and it should say Integrity Solutions. It's a self-assessment. I'll send you the note after this so you know what it is. It basically is about people's communication styles, behavior styles. I think you have a model that you've used before about the paradigm. Why can't I think of what it is? Somebody help me out quickly. What the colors, and I'm blanking that right now. But yes. It's about people's preferred communication styles. One of the most effective ways to be a really good coach is adapting your message to their behavior style. The whole part of the first 2 sessions are built on knowing thyself. And you will learn more because you get a 50-page report and you'll go and inform denial and say, this isn't me. And then I'll ask you, go give it to a spouse or somebody who knows you well and see what they think. And they go, oh, I guess you're right. And it's not perfect, but it gives you a way to think about how you interact and how people see you and how you see them. So then the other thing that happens is on Mondays, I send you a 3-minute video that I do over the weekend that recaps everything we covered. That's message repetition, so you'll hear it again. Then what happens is be ready. And then I'm asking you to think about your leadership brand, because that's what we're talking about next time. We're talking about leadership brand and performance. So here's what ready means for that meeting on the 17th. It means you've talked to your team. If you haven't told your team that you're doing this, they're going to think something chemically has happened to you or some weirdness has happened, that you have this unexplainable change in your behavior style as you practice. So
they pretty much say that all the time.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying that you need to warn them that you're practicing a skill. And so if you don't do that, it doesn't help. You should also talk to your manager about this so they also know. So when they say, you got to do this, and you say, well, I'm doing this call, they have to be able to say, okay, that you need to do this call. And the tyranny of the urgent can't win over this. You have to practice the stuff, and it's not a big time commitment. There's never enough time. And I can tell you, during the heating season and some of the summer seasons, they were really busy, but we figured out how to make it happen and using the time. The second one is, so talk to your team, discuss with your manager, make the commitment. Are you in or you're out? It doesn't work if you're half in, because you're going to be found out by your cohorts. They'll just call you out. I'm just telling you, my role is I'm just the facilitator. I'm looking for a branch picture or a picture of your team that you lead. It could be the outside of your building. It could be a group team picture. This will come back and used in the next session. So just there's a purpose for this. So I'll need that from you. And then I'll need an email back from you. And basically I need back from you, that's my attendance. Did you attend? Because I can't keep track of everybody. I need to know, are you in? What's your definition of leadership? Why am I asking that silly question? Because you're trying to figure it out for yourself. And if I ask you to write it out quickly, you're going to start thinking about this, and we're going to spend the next time refining what that actually means. And then the hardest question is, what is your leadership brand? An easy way to think about this is when you walk into the room with your team, what do you bring and what do they see? And you will learn a lot by just, and again, this is the know thyself section in Managing Manners. So that's the whole part I wanted to cover. I just wanted to conclude by saying, welcome. I will continue to try to learn, so you'll have to help me when I do something. I don't mean to be culturally offensive. I don't. I know there are differences. I say the same thing to the folks in Oklahoma as I do the ones in New England and wherever, because there are cultural differences and we work through them together. There are business differences, but what we're trying to do is create a way to grow the leadership capacity of our organization and our investment in you to be the best leader you can be for the people you lead. So I'll answer any questions. You can practice that, hold your space bar down to unmute. If not, we'll go from there. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I will tell you, and I'd be curious, I'm not trying to break bias. You know, we asked the first participants to kind of manage expectations. On a scale to 1 to 10, how would you recommend the program to another colleague or friend? And what we ended up with, the lowest score out of 20 people was an 8. Most were 9s and 10s. And the reason that they scored it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them and how they took the class. And so if you want I took a training, that's fine. We'll give you one. If you want the transformational moment about how you lead, we'll give you that choice too. So with that, I'll let you run, and thank you so much. Any questions?
No questions, but I want to thank everybody for attending today. You guys are all awesome. You're going to have a great time. It's a wonderful program. I've been through it with Dave for all the 10 sessions. For me, it was certainly a refresh from a leadership perspective, and I learned a lot of new things. And I really enjoy the camaraderie with the rest of our extended family.